Sure, we're a level 1 facility here at Central Michigan, and we have a population of 2,547. Very large operation, 3 meals a day. That equates to right around 180,000 meals a month that we're responsible for serving. I'm Chad Stevenson. I'm the food service director here at Central Michigan Correctional Facility. I've been here since 2018, and I've been with the department since 2003. The element of managing in the corrections environment is that the very workers that you're dependent on preparing and serving the menu items have the potential to be a liability, and so it requires that extra supervision. So we're now currently in week 2. We have a 4-week cycle menu, and that cycle menu, it provides consistency and standardization for us. Those menus are all approved by the regional dietitian. They have to do very extensive nutritional analysis on those menu items to make sure that the calorie content is there, that the guys are getting the nutrition that they're supposed to get. And it's very important to have something like that when you're doing a feeding this large amount of folks, because you need that consistency and you need to have it easily planned.
Hi there, I'm Assistant Food Service Director Williams, and this is Cook 7 Steel and our prisoner workers. And we're going to go ahead and grab our product that is needed for the lunch meal. It is in our pass-through hallway here. All the product that is needed for our meals for lunch and breakfast and dinner just for today are in the pass-through storage areas. So we're going to go ahead and open up the storage areas and instruct the prisoner workers to grab the product, and we'll get to the cooking area. All right, the cheddar cheese for the meal is always kept secured, either in the office or in the cooler, while we wait for the process of adding it to our cream sauce. This is to make sure that we keep the cheese secure, it doesn't get mishandled or taken to a place where it's not supposed to be. All right, now we've brought our cream sauce up to a boil, and we've reduced the heat and we've let it simmer. It's now time to add the cheddar cheese slowly, per the recipe, to the mix and combine.
It's not just the quantity, but the quality of the products it's there. Like, we serve a good quality meal 3 times a day. You could buy mac and cheese in a pan that's frozen that you just toss in an oven and you heat it up. But when you're actually making your own cream sauce and you're boiling your pasta and you're assembling that the same day that you're eating that, and it's never been frozen, that just goes to show one of the quality menu items that we serve.
All right, as we've said, we've prepared our approximately 380 servings of mac and cheese, and it's secured here in our hot box. We're going to repeat that process 2 more times, and we're going to get the amount that we need that's required to serve the meal.
A lot of our products in food service are very, very desirable, and that's where our food service staff come in, and that's why they have to be directly observing a lot of these products to make sure that the products that we designate for the menu item actually make it into the menu item. And so you have to make sure that throughout the process of preparation, you're doing a lot of verifying, a lot of direct observing, and a lot of securing. I teach my staff to make sure that if they're not able to watch it, don't get it out in the first place. Leave it behind the locked doors until you're able to manage that product. Then get it managed, get the product prepared, then get the prepared product secured, whether we lock the hot box or we place the stuff in the cooler for staging. The quicker we can keep that stuff in a secure area, the better we have a result of getting the product to the menu. So we're going to head back to our commissary preparation area where they prep the vegetables. So we'll head back that way. This is Supervisor Vogelsong. Hello. Mr. Vogelsong oversees back here not just the vegetable preparation, but our pulls and our commissary and our dry storage areas. Does a fantastic job for us. We'll start here where this gentlemen are prepping the carrots for the carrot coins for today's lunch meal. Carrots are peeled right here. Once they get peeled, the rough cut carrots, and they process them into the coins. And you're gonna have about 3 carrot coins and 3 celery sticks that we're gonna serve to about 2,500 folks today. So they're gonna be doing a lot of these carrots and celery. Over here is where we start to prep the celery for the celery sticks. Split them and place them in a tub on water to keep them so they're nice and crisp. And then they'll get transferred into pans after they get rinsed off there in the tub. Over here we've got the potatoes, and the potatoes are placed in the water here first. Make sure that they're cleaned off. And we're going to be dicing those potatoes in 1-inch dices, which makes them easier to cook. We go through thousands and thousands of pounds of potatoes. I purchase near 3 tons of potatoes every single week. So one thing to know about potatoes is that they have very high nutritional content, and they're reasonably inexpensive.
Okay, now we are to the potato cooking process of our meal today. So the potatoes will get put into barrels and prepped the day before in the commissary, and now they're brought out to the cooking area the day of the meal, and they're placed in our 80-gallon industrial-sized kettles, and they're parboiled. The water will then be drained, and then the specified amount of margarine and seasonings are melted and poured over proportionately over all of the potatoes, and then they are panned up onto large sheet trays here, and the sheet trays are then placed on these oven racks. Each oven rack can hold about 10 to 15 pans of potatoes. These large oven racks with the potatoes are then placed into our industrial-sized ovens. And these ovens can hold up to 2 racks of potatoes, which is about 300 servings of potatoes per batch that we're going to throw inside this oven here. And so these are potatoes cooking inside the oven. They cook about 45 minutes until tender, slightly crispy, and then we get them panned up into 6-inch pans. Once they're panned up into the 6-inch pans, then we're going to get a lid on them and place them into our warmers. Once they're placed in the warmers, we're going to close the door, and we're going to lock each hot box with a padlock and secure it until meal service.
Yeah, so most of our baked items and most of our vegetable processing is done a day in advance. We were just looking at oven brown potatoes for 2,500 guys. Well, that's going to equate to right around 1,500 pounds of potatoes being chopped up and diced and baked off. So you're going to need to chop and dice those up the day ahead of time. This way they come in the morning, those potatoes are already prepared and ready to go. The other thing about doing something like that in advance is it prevents any emergencies. If the processor broke, we could figure out something else to do a day ahead of time. But if the processor breaks at 8 o'clock, we're going to be in trouble for potatoes for lunch. So again, this is where we do our baking. And the bakery also does the preparation for both East and West kitchens. So that 2,500 portion number I was talking about, these fellows back here, they do all the preparation for that as far as any baked goods. We're talking about cookies, we're talking about cakes, cornbread, French toast bake, several different menu items. And one of the most important things when we're doing institutional food service like we're doing is we have to be very consistent, and we have to make sure that things are measured accurately. And what happens is that a staff member takes a look at this and they say, okay, I've got 18 pans of cake here. There's 54 portions per pan. 18 times 54, 972. Yeah, we got 972 portions of cake. We're going to want to take a look at it. We're going to want to verify it. Are they cut properly? Are they even? If they're even and they're cut properly, then we can count on 972 portions. If we have a cut issue, we certainly want to discover that early. Because if a guy gets a half a piece of cake, he's not going to be accepting that. He's not going to be happy about that. And then you're going to replace it. Now you don't have 972. We have a religious meal program here. We have about 20 participants. That religious menu is completely vegan. And the religious participants have to be approved by the chaplain. Once the participant is approved for religious meals by the chaplain, he goes into our system and we create a tray ticket, which basically tells our guys exactly what to prepare for him. And he has to eat there. He can't participate in the general population meals once he's approved for a religious meal. We're fortunate here at STF to have a very large religious kitchen, and so we have all of our tools and our ingredients are stored in here or in the back areas where I showed you guys earlier as far as strict control on those products so that they don't cross-contaminate with general population products. And most of the items in here you'll see are marked, especially our equipment like our hot box in which we transport our product. Additionally, we have our own tool room for our religious kitchen, and then we also have our symbols available so that staff and prisoners can see. Again, these guys have been well trained in the religious preparation. They've went through the manual and the training with staff, and so they understand the importance of making sure that these products do not mix with any products utilized for general population. It's one of the most valuable items in a food service operation is experienced staff. This job requires experience. The managing prisoners, being in a correctional atmosphere, you learn by experience. You learn what things work better by your veteran coworkers and learn how to approach guys, de-escalate guys, and get results achieved.
We rotate through the units every day, so that way every unit gets a chance to get called first. Certain days let's say we'll call C unit first, that way C unit has the opportunity to go use the phones, and then they come to chow first. The next day we'll call D unit first, and just continue around the alphabet. We have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox, Golf, and Hotel, and we continue around that half circle. So that way every unit gets the opportunity to call first, every unit gets the opportunity to be called last. About roughly every 7 or 8 minutes we run a new unit, which is quite exceptional considering what our food service workers go through. Like today for lunch is mac and cheese. We'll probably push anywhere from 900 to 1,000 trays through in about an hour and 15 minutes or so.
You know, one of the big challenges about feeding population that shows up in your dining room to get chow every day is that the guy that's serving the meal is serving the meal to a population that might lock right next to him. And so that guy would like for him to put extra mashed potatoes on the tray. That guy would like for him to put an extra cookie on the tray. And if you can imagine, we're serving 1,200 meals. My staff are responsible for monitoring those trays. It's difficult to monitor the cookies, the portion of mac and cheese, making sure the right amount of celery sticks and carrot sticks are on the tray without seeing a cookie quickly pass over the line. So you teach the awareness factor, you teach what to look for, how to place things on the line so that you can reduce that theft and reduce some of that pressure. The guys are exceptionally good at nonverbal communication. As they're going through the line, they're looking at their friend that's working behind the line, their co-prisoner, and they're giving him a nod. That's all he has to do. Sometimes he doesn't even have to nod. He can just use his eyes. And that basically means you better put some more on that tray. And so it's very, very important that staff are present and aware so that this prisoner worker, he just has to do his job. Because if he's not being monitored and this guy across from him sees he's not being monitored, then that puts him in a very awkward position. But if staff are monitoring him properly, then he's just doing his job. He's like, hey, I can't put extra on. The staff's right there. So we have to watch that serving line very carefully. Even something as small as putting an extra tiny, just a quarter of an ounce extra, if you can imagine 1,200 times, you're gonna run out of product. And so being consistent and making sure we're following the portion size and directly observing that, it's gonna make sure that you don't run out of food. And if you're not doing that, you have a very likely chance of running out of food, which causes all kinds of other domino issues. This is where we store a lot of product for both East and West Food Service. Again, it's this area right here is where we store our dry goods. So we'll kind of go through here and just do a quick tour. If you look at the projections for the future, food's not going to go down in price. So when you're looking at 70,000 meals a day as an entity in the whole entire MDOC food service, and you look at the cost of the ingredients going in an upward fashion, I think it's pretty darn important that we have people that are in a position to succeed and manage those ingredients, because I expect that our ingredients are going to continue to rise. And so it's an important focus that we need to have on this atmosphere. We won't want to be in here long. It's definitely 0 or right in that ballpark. We're lucky to have a large freezer like that. Our meat comes in frozen, and we have to pull that meat ahead of it in advance so it'll thaw and be ready for preparation. So each one of these carts has a tag on it. It indicates how much meat is required for the menu item to be prepared. We have to pull some of this product 5 days in advance because, again, it comes in a frozen block and it takes time to thaw. When you're doing food preparation, it's not helpful to have a frozen block of chicken, so we make sure we thaw these items. Yes, you're in prison. Yes, you're going to get a menu that repeats itself 4 weeks. But on the same token, you're getting good quality meals, 3 meals a day. I mean, they get 2 hot meals a day every single day. I think we do a good job. I think we do a good quality menu at the MDOC, and I've seen it improve over the years. I've seen the attention to quality improve over the years. And so in a challenging environment like this, it's rewarding to treat the offenders like human beings and demonstrate that type of behavior, that we're all here to perform a function. And the prisoner workers are here to perform that function, but how we approach those fellas and how we treat them, it goes a long, long ways. I encourage my staff to use please and thank you, and to try to have good individual productive conversations with offenders when they need to correct them. We try to have a progressive discipline process here. We don't just fire guys right away unless it's a fireable offense like theft. However, if it's something we can resolve and it's something that we can get some dialogue and document it, maybe we can correct that individual and get them on the right track and be a great worker for us. I have many conversations weekly with offenders, trying to give them an understanding that how folks communicate to them sometimes might be challenging, but that it's much more about who's saying the things to them. It's not about them. Try to teach them that this is a work environment, and that sometimes out there in the world, work environments, you're going to come across people. They're going to say certain types of things, certain types of ways, and how you react is what you can control. And so I really try to give them opportunities to grow in here and be prepared for the workplace when they leave. Being a level 1 facility, I got a lot of these guys that are going to be out there. They're going to be working in those kitchens. So if I can give them some self-managing tools and some ability to understand, because let's face it, food service can be stressful. We're short-staffed frequently. We've got a lot of different demands, particularly out there in the world in the short order cooking and etc. So learning how to be better in stressful environments, it's rewarding to know that I'm passing that on.